everyone comfortable coming up and using a mic, or how would they like for questioning?
Just stand up and ask.
Okay, who has a question, or a statement about what their thoughts on this process, on how the bid is communicating with the businesses, anything.
Well, I actually have a statement
Wait,
that I would.
wait, she's
Sorry.
Sorry, she's first. And you can just say your name and resident or business owner.
So my name is Shirley Buell. I live downtown. I'm one of the volunteers with the beautification committee. But my question is, what will happen if this increase is not passed? What will happen to the bid?
They will not have a tax levy increase. At the August bid board meeting, I believe their accountant said that did not mean that they had to start dissolving right away, but they were running out of money. In the letter that went out, they said they would be starting closer towards in January. I don't know that that's true, or if that crossed wires. At any rate, they still have the same tax levy that they have right now, and the same struggle.
The letter actually did say, if we don't get it, it will,
Yeah.
dissolve in 26. I think that letter was only sent to, people that were actually paying the tax increase, I'm not sure. But that's something, that's more than fair to ask, Okay, who else would like to speak? Nobody?
I would.
Nobody.
So all I just have to say, my wife tells me that I should let somebody else talk.
I'm sorry, sir.
This is just like thinking out of the box here for just a minute.
Mike, you gotta say who you
Oh, my
are.
name is Michael Wistock. I am with the Hudson Candy Factory, 161 River Street.
Okay.
So why don't we think out of the box here? We used to talk to have the sheriff's department come and bring the convicts, and they did all sorts of work downtown.
Mike, keep
Why
it-
don't we go to the judges?
Mike, no, I want to be as serious as
I'm being serious too. Why don't we have the judges give these people community service and let them come down and clean up the stuff and work in the bid?
Okay, Mike, thank you.
Okay, so my idea is not good, so it's okay, Mike.
I like it.
Yeah.
Bid is not just beautification.
Okay, so other than beautification.
That's what I'm talking
Okay,
about,
yes,
beautification.
Obviously, I'm with him. My name is Patrice, and I'm the owner of the Hudson Candy Factory building, and we do the business together, and also the owner of 43rd Street. And my stepson runs the business, and then the bottom of that one. So I have two buildings in
Right.
that. And so one is more downtown than the other. So, I do have a personal situation with the 100, you talk about communication. I have never been really approached by bid people on the 100 block, and we have been there since 2014. That's all I have to say.
And I think that's a common thing that's said to me, and again, if anybody here is in a business, this isn't for me, I know.
And not only that, but we do not get any of those bid beautifications. And because we are on that last block, there's no reason for people to come from the downtown. There's no inducement from those events for people to come to that last block. You understand? Because it dead ends by going over the bridge to another city, right? So we're just at the ass end of it, the whole bid thing. Sorry, everybody, but that's what we call ourselves. And we're down there, and we don't get a lot of traffic from any of the events. And in fact, we are severely impacted by these events. Our customers we have events on the weekends, nice weddings, etc., and our people can't even get there on time because the streets are blocked off, and their GPS is telling them to go through roads that are blocked. All right, just as my son suffers from, and I know that the bid has nothing to do with us, but from the farmers market, because his customers can't come because he runs a destination service rather than a walk-by service. So he used to be open 6 days a week, and he's closed now on Saturdays, which used to be his biggest. So it's actually, there's some function of this that's hurting the people that are paying for it, and especially our block is completely neglected and adversely impacted, except I do have a terrible problem with people coming to park down in the parking lot that I have created. We bought the parking lot to go with the building from the city, and when I pay taxes on the parking lot, my tenants have it in their leases if they have parking spots, and people are in the no matter how many signs we put up. So, you know, one thing I would like the bid to really think about, and I read their mission, is to think about being, more like ombudsman for people here, to deal with the city and some of the problems that the city creates or the neglect of the city of certain portions.
So some of those things are clearly city issues
Yes,
as far as
but-
parking. The farmer's market, if anyone knows, is a business within itself. So while the bid district exists within it, the farmer's market is a separate entity. I mean, all your points are fair, and I think that any business owner or anybody who lives downtown, parking, towing, ticketing, it affects us all.
So does the bid pay an assessment, does the farmer's market pay an assessment to the bid?
I don't know that. I don't know that, but it's a
No,
good
it's
question.
It's paid, yeah, it's paid via
They're
property
not-
tax.
They rent from the property owner,
Right, so they're not.
so they pay the.
Which is like the city, so we know they're probably not paying.
Say again?
Well, they're renting because it's on city streets, so they're probably
No,
not
but in
paying.
the winter, they're in the atrium.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
In the winter,
otherwise,
but how about in the summer?
I'm just saying,
yeah, they're
I
the
don't
most
know, but-
prolific.
paid by
We're trying
property
to
tax,
cover-
Mike, so they don't have a property, so they
Yeah.
cannot be paying.
Not directly, but just like a
That's
tenant,
just common sense.
just like a tenant is gonna pay their landlord who pays the property tax. And the
So-
tax is considered to be included within rent.
I own a 2 unit, so I'm not affected by the bid 3 unit, but I have a building downtown. But I am affected because my landlord charges a CAM charge, and my rent is not consistent every month if my landlord is hit with a higher amount. So in effect, a tripling of a bid will affect me and many business owners that are in our same circle of business owners. So it does affect the business owners and, you know, in addition. I'm not worried about that, but, any other business owners wanna talk about this?
Well,
Go.
I'll jump in because I wanted to piggyback off of this. So I'm Mike Fusco from Franklin Plaza, Best Western Hotel, I'm doing 24th Street and 500 Federal. So, you know, we have quite a bit of street frontage. Been very familiar with it for a very long time, and they did come and communicate with us. We have a bunch of all the same problems you're talking about with the parking, the mess, and everything that we deal with all day long. My frustration, same thing, is I get one plan. At the other end of it. We have nothing downtown. I'm also, this is said by Olivia, okay, we are also gonna be the highest increase of tax is towards this, which our taxes will go up in the upper echelons of $30,000 to $35,000 just to be in the bid. It's a lot of money to pay for a plan. We do our own snow removal, we do our own beautification at Franklin Plaza and at the hotel and at the Best Western. I have people on staff that are doing everything that these people are saying they're doing, and they don't up in our area. I've been very civil, I don't want to thought against the bid, but these are the points where I'm also not going to support it because we are supporting ourselves because the bid is, again, to us, more geared toward downtown.
No, that's fair, and that's the kind of thing I want. I think it's really important, and your next bill, that we talk, that nobody's too shy to say, hey, you know, we depend on the bid for, we want more from, or, you know, whatever, go ahead.
My name is Bill Allen, I'm partners with Ashley Price in Trojan Horse Antiques, and basically.
And if anybody can hear somebody, just tell us, so.
Yeah, I feel that there is a real lack of communication on the part of the bid with the business owners. We have been, I've been involved with this business for 5.5 years. I've never seen the executive director in our business once in that time, not once. So as far as communication, when I did bring some things up during one of the meetings, basically I was cut off completely, and it was as if I was being rude. It was like, no, I was bringing up facts that were, they were real, and as far as beautification and all of that, and snow removal, they really don't do anything even around us and the bus stop and all of that along Third. And it's really disappointing that the effort that we put out in keeping that corner clean, all the streets around that area, we try to keep clean. Because it's embarrassing how this, the bid doesn't really take any real commitment with keeping them up. And even with a bid increase, I don't see that with having 2 part-time people that they couldn't have done more, with that. The other thing is, my concern is that to go from 5% to 15%, what is that gonna do to the retail businesses in town? I mean, that's gonna be a direct effect on our rent. And what's that
Well,
gonna do?
that's what I said.
That's gonna put us out of business, I'm sorry. There's no way that you can operate with a 15% increase on this bid and not, have, that increase your rent somehow. And that's completely understandable, completely understandable. But the problem is the businesses can't afford it. And it's only gonna do more to
And
destroy the
maybe if they
downtown than
felt
it's gonna
more-
be to enhance.
Especially as it's piggybacking off the library that just passed and went through. I mean, you're hitting us with a lot of things all at once.
Jen, did you wanna talk? No? No?
James, I'm sorry, I've been raising his hand for a bit.
James, sorry.
I'm James Keto. My wife and I used to run Whiskey Pickle. We still have some businesses on the corner of the property. A lot of, maybe a solution-oriented thing, a lot of what I've been hearing is communication related. Like, I think we all want more economic activity in Troy. More economic activity comes with more people come with more cars and more problems. So I guess we have to ask ourselves, like, do we want that generally? And if the answer is yes, then how do we accommodate it? And I think, like, the problem is that nobody knows when things are happening, where things are happening. Like, channels of communication are so distributed now, across so many different platforms and papers and emails, that it's hard to find one way to reach everybody. It's impossible for me as a professional marketer through my day job. It's just so difficult to try to reach everybody. And you think you can do a good job reaching every single person, and then you're gonna find the person around the corner that's like, I didn't hear about it. You're like, how the hell didn't you hear about it? So, like, I think maybe a big part of the solution is finding a communication channel or channels that we can all figure out how to use and agree upon, where everybody can, like, I don't know how that looks, but I think awareness, if we all know what's happening, when it's happening, we can plan. If there's a street festival coming, maybe you Airbnb your apartment for the weekend, you pay your mortgage for the month, and you go take a vacation. Like, that's what they do in Austin when, millions of people get in for South by Southwest. So, again, there's a way to make it work, but I definitely think communication is lacking. It's a hard problem. I don't have solutions for that, but maybe we could brainstorm solutions.
Yeah, and I think that's important, because it's not like, this is not pointing blame, this is saying, okay, this isn't happening, what do we do about it? I mean, if somebody's gonna get paid to do a job and they're not doing it, how do we make it work? How do we make it work with who we have now, what we have now? I'm not sure, but that communication is the most important thing, because people sitting at home being unhappy or in their business being unhappy doesn't make it better, so.
I'm just a resident in Troy and enjoy a lot of the businesses. I hear a lot about communication, I think that's fair. I'm hoping that maybe with increased funding, they can maybe hire more people to increase such communication. Because I did see on the slide, they used to have more numbers, so, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there as being a solution.
Yeah, that's, I know, back to Bill's point earlier about, like, not getting touched, right? Like, I hear a lot of that in the big meetings and for businesses. Like, I haven't seen a bid person in my business, and it's virtually impossible to do on the staffing level we have and do anything else. I'm honestly amazed at the light work that the part-time staff we have gets done. I know how hard it is because I am in the digital media space. It takes a lot of effort to go and put together all this content. So I'm not surprised that you don't see more bid people. I think you're unlikely to, because there's 290 businesses or whatever John said earlier.
209.
Yeah. How do you get to all those businesses when they're open with 2 staff at the right
Or
time?
you just have
It's
a
difficult.
monthly meeting
Yeah.
that's at a specific time, maybe, I don't know, I don't have the answers,
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
the only
saying,
solution to that
you know,
problem, I
I'm
think,
saying,
is more people to give more personal touches, because we can't, like, when you're working 8-hour days, you can only go to so many places and do so many things. But if that's what people are missing, yeah, staffing is definitely the solution for it.
or maybe they also feel not only are they're not, their input, an event happens and their input is ignored like Bill thought. Who else wants to speak? Okay,
Hi, my name's Amy. I'm a resident. I live on 2nd Street.
just talk a little louder.
Hi, my name is Amy. I'm a resident. I live on 2nd Street, and I guess 2 summers ago, I was looking for volunteer opportunities just to feel more connected to my community, and I saw that there is in the bid newsletter, there was some some volunteer opportunities, and I reached out, I mean, and I understand it's, you know, staffing, but, I reached out, I called the number and I emailed a bunch of times, just inquiring, and I didn't get a response, and then I think I just, one time I just showed up to the quality of life meeting, but no one was there, cause I guess it was canceled cause it was July, and then I was like, why am I trying so hard to volunteer? Like, I felt like I was stalking, and I'm like, I shouldn't do that. But it just seems like, I understand it probably takes a volunteer coordinator to organize people, but then there's also like a deficiency in funds, but you know, many hands make light work, so there are, I mean, I think that's just another perspective on.
Also, you could ask, you know, a business owner from time to time to take over. I mean, it's really, I mean, I don't wanna keep saying communication, but if somebody comes and says, look, I know you're all busy, you're running your own business, but can you do one thing? I'm just saying that we are a small community that really cares about Troy, and we care, we wanna make money also. I just think that, you know, one person, I don't know. Matt, go.
I'm Maddie, I'm one of the owners of Nerdy by Nature on Ferry Street. I guess my question is, I think like something we have to take into consideration is what is the realistic impact if they don't get their levy, if they don't get this change, and the bid closes in 2026? What is that impact on downtown Troy and the work that they put into changing the narrative of what the city is?
I don't think it would have an impact. I mean, I remember Troy when every Friday was a Friday night out, and on Saturdays, the city was full by 11 a.m. with shoppers.
What year was that?
It was the 1800s.
Yeah.
I'm not picking on you, I'm asking.
Yeah, the Spanish flu
I'm
was really
honest,
tough.
well,
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's what I remember, you know.
But no, what year?
You know, the 50s and the 60s,
In the
prior to
80s?
the atrium.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why that can't be now, because people enjoy Troy. There isn't a Central Avenue, there isn't a Washington, there isn't a main thoroughfare that you have to cross. People that I know outside of Troy, they love Troy, but the problem that I think is on the increase is they complain, well, there's no place to park, I'm gonna go around the block once and then I'm gonna leave. And then you have businesses building these structures on the street. And one just went up on Fulton Street that I think takes up 4 spots. If you have a restaurant that doesn't open until 4 p.m., you're cheating the other businesses around you by not having a parking spot. I think the bid hurts itself.
Well, I think the bid was not responsible for the parking, that's more of a city issue.
Well,
And
but
selfishly,
still.
as a retail owner, there's I think the restaurant should just give up maybe 1 spot each, but I'm not gonna get in trouble. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Gwen Kraus, I'm the chair of the board of the Art Center. And it sounds like we have a catch-22, which is that people want more services from the bid, but there's this tiny staff and not enough resources. So one option is obviously this increase. Is 15% written in stone? I mean, that was a pretty good standard of legitimacy of looking at the other
Right,
cities,
right.
that their percentage, not how many businesses they have, is 10% realistic. And I would like to say in defense of the bid, they work with us on Troy Glow. We brought 10,000 people to Troy. And yes, parking is a bitch, and that's on the city.
Yeah.
That's not on the bid.
I would like to point out that there are things that the bid can do that are not part of their current activities. You know, you could keep an inventory of all the commercial spaces that are available, and gather some information about what kind of businesses people would like to see, and you could try and develop those businesses. There are a lot of grant opportunities, and part of what the raise could do is helping them fund grant opportunities for small businesses. I would like to say that, you know, the bid could maybe work with the city on a downtown parking study. I know that that's something that is really important. The bid could do sidewalk improvement. These are things that, I understand there's some, but we're putting out there that there's a lot of stuff that is not just events that they could be doing that they are not doing right now.
All right, let's see. Okay, wait, who's first? Back first, then after.
So, let's say that the bid does get dissolved, the funds that are allocated
for that, even the 5% without the increase, how will that be allocated through the city when, if it's the.
So that is something we don't know. This is more about letting people that are on the bid board, people from the city council, people that are gonna listen, that I don't know the answer to that. So, Astrid?
Hi, my name is Astrid Bryce, I'm the owner of Church North Antiques along with Bill Allen. I've been doing this a very long time. And 2 minutes is not enough time. The bid, first and foremost, I want to say I love the bid. The bid is a really important part of Troy. I was there at the beginning of it with Elizabeth Young and everybody who started this. It's a great organization. I just sat on the board for a couple of years. I loved it. They're hardworking people, and I don't think any of us really understand how much they're doing. They do so much that we don't even know. Behind the scenes, they're working. Olivia is working like non-stop. They work weekends, they work events, they're getting sponsorships. $100,000 to get this money. I mean, pounding the pavement, talking, making phone calls, everything that they do. So I give them that. Very hard work. I think at the end of the day, we need to decide as property owners, if you're residents, or business owners. At the end of the day, businesses need to make money. That's just what it comes down to. And I look at the events, they're fabulous, et cetera, et cetera. So much time and effort goes into the events. They're working 24/7, promoting, da-da-da. What are the events bringing to me? I am gonna speak right now as a retail shop owner. The night events don't bring anything to me. Rocking on the River, I don't even wanna talk about the loss that we suffered this year with that. Brings nothing, literally. I'm happy about the restaurants and bars getting for Chowder Fest, Pig Fest. They could potentially be run on their own with the restaurants. Maybe they could create some kind of committee for that. I think we have to decide what's important. I think beautification is important. You go to these other towns and cities, the flowers are everywhere, the streets are clean. I will tell you, if you work downtown or live downtown, you have seen Bill Allen on the street for hours every day picking up garbage. Bags and bags and bags of garbage, because it's everywhere. It's disgusting. So the people that come on a Saturday at Farmers Market have to walk along Fulton Street and see literal disgustingness that I photographed. And they're like, ooh, let me just go to the farmer's market, get
But
ready,
again,
and leave again.
that's not
Because they don't wanna come back to Troy for what? They're there for the farmer's market. So the conversation with Steve Ridlow the other day, and we were chatting very briefly about this, whether or not he was gonna come, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know what, at the end of the day, Steve, the reason why we're making money and our doors are open is because of the farmer's market. And ask any retail shop owner here, and they will tell you the same thing. That is when we topped out at 1,000 people in 5 hours on a Saturday. That's when we have it. Now farmers market's gonna move inside and thump. Thump. Luckily, we are a destination, and hopefully these fabulous businesses in Troy are also destinations, and people will continue to come. If someone comes in and buys a $2,000 sofa, I'm happy. How many bars of soap? How many pieces of jewelry? How many pieces of candy? How many books? To make that money. This is so important that I am 100% supportive of the bid. But what is it doing to bring people here to shop? I'm happy for the restaurants. I'm happy for the bars.
All right.
I eat at them. I drink at them.
I gotta give some other people.
But we've got to figure out at the end of the day, why do we want this increase? Because at the end of the day, it's going to increase your rent, no matter what. And you're gonna have to raise your rent to your restaurants, your businesses, et cetera.
Okay.
That's what I wanna say. And I could speak for another 20 minutes, but I
Yeah.
wanna.
Are we on a time frame that we have to be out here by a certain time?
No.
Hi, my name is Albert. I'm a civil service worker with the city, so who gets my.
Loud, little loud.
Yep, Albert, civil service, what's going on? So, my quick thought is what I'm hearing is that there's, a lot of the increase for the staff is gonna be going towards, we're just talking about beautification and how important that is, but I think that the razor's edge of like, what we're gonna do with this money, you've gotta wonder, how much is beautification working right now? Because I'm hearing people saying that it's this area, but not my area, or it's not enough, or it's not here. If we have all this extra beautification staff, are we gonna have that same level in more places, and is that sufficient? Or are we gonna have like more in the places where it's happening currently? Would it be more beneficial to hire instead like a coordination person who would be more, looking at calendars, looking at events coming up, looking at parking, and calling businesses and saying, what are you doing, what can I do for you? Having the person to be that communications director, or if we have a I don't know already a job title, but
someone to manage the communication and, the scheduling and the parking and the,
So, that's a great idea, because that's why I wanted to have this meeting, because everybody's got different ideas, a lot of people have the same experience, frustrations, businesses. You guys want, who's next, who's raising their hand? Is there anybody else over here? Nobody else wants to talk?
Well,
Go.
with that beautification, we're talking about flower pots. Honestly, I don't care about a flower pot. I care about, like what she said, the
Trash
filth,
on the
the
street.
filth, the garbage, the condoms, the needles, just the crap that is everywhere in the street.
But is that the bid, or is that the city
It's
of
the
Troy?
city, it should be the
But
city.
it's
Why
also-
would we waste our money, or why would the bid waste their money on beautification? I mean, the place is filthy, and that's a major, major problem that should be addressed.
That is a reasonable concern if this goes up. Are we gonna be spending money on city services and the city is just gonna pull out their employees,
Yeah, we wanna
and
make
they're
sure
gonna
the
put in
city-
theirs, and then downtown is paying extra tax?
Yeah, we don't want the city to not care about downtown because they say they have the bid, we don't need to help. Just say who you are and speak out.
Hi, my name's Michael Gardner. I've lived in Troy since 2013. I've appreciated and enjoyed Troy every year. Through then, I moved downtown in 2018. This year, I'm happy to say I started my own company. It's called the Trojan Software Company. I used to be in the video game industry. When I used to live in Ohio. That's where I came from. And what I think about with the bid is like, how can I wanted to succeed. I wanted to improve business, because that's what's in the name, very literal like that.
Yeah.
And I think back to like my life in Ohio, and I think about how farmers who run businesses collaborate together, and the closest thing I could think of is a co-op. A co-op is a physical building where there's a bunch of different feed and different supplies for farmers to use. So what could that mental model be for the bid to facilitate commerce in the bid district? That's kind of where my headspace is for this. How can we look at the operations of the bid in a way that what's working and what isn't working? Sounds like we lose a lot of money on events that don't bring people in on hot days. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we should focus in on trying to lift up new businesses. I know, for example, there's this one place called Oregano and Thyme on Broadway. They had a website for a while, but I couldn't get a hold of them, and they took down that website because they just couldn't benefit. Sure, and me as a software engineer, I could help them, but maybe the business improvement district can be that hand as well. We can chart our own course for ways to improve businesses. That's what I envision that to be. And I think we can reevaluate how, just to wrap up my 2 minutes, how we spend money effectively. I also happen to wear the hat of like the treasurer for the Rensselaer County Historical Society. I've been to a couple of public meetings about transit and whatnot. What I care about is how we spend our money effectively, how to make the best value. Like when we get a food truck that's Cousin's Lobster from Maine, that's not Troy. I want to see a Troy business selling Troy things there to keep the money that we're investing from the levy in the community.
No, really good points. I mean, this wasn't about trashing the bid, but more about ideas, and that's, both you guys had, everybody, that's why I asked somebody to take notes, because it's not me. This side has been lacking. Do you guys have, anybody here want to speak? Hi, Matt.
Kathy Sheehan, I'm the Rensselaer County Historical Society. And one of the things that I know Olivia and I had talked about, and I thought they got a grant for, was the wayfaring stations. Where we then, as people who were in the bid, we would be able to get a code, we could enter our events, we could enter our tours, and everybody else could have those things. And then I haven't heard a thing more about it. I think there's just some kind of basic logistical problems. For many, many months, the bid number was our museum number. And people kept calling us up. And going, sorry, we're not the bid. And I actually finally kind of got hold of Olivia's cell phone number, which I felt bad, but they just weren't stepping up to the plate to get a number. There was no sign on the bid. I didn't know where they were for ages there, so it's I think they're on Third Street next to the Rock, I think. Yeah, and there was no sign that said this is the bid, there was nothing that was gonna say, hey, good, let's bring over our brochures over there, let's, get things so that people know what's going on a regular basis, not just for the big events. I think it's, as a lot of other people have been saying here too. But
Anybody else over on this side?
Yes, my name is Jeff Connery. I'm partners with Michael Cook and Michael Fussell on 500 Federal Street. And this whole bid thing is new to me. Didn't really know what it was all about. Kind of getting the gist of it now. But it almost sounds like to me that the bid is a great idea, but it lacks the resource, the funding. And, I was talking to Michael before I came here, and I'm just curious, like, why? Listen, a lot of business owners, you guys take a lot of the risk to draw the people into this town. You financially take the risk to bring people here to do business. Yes, you're making money, but at the same time, why isn't the city just taking a minuscule amount of tax money from everyone in the city to fund this project, which, once it has the money, it could probably work even better. But it seems like it's lacking funding. And listen, everybody in this city benefits. I mean, how many people come to the farmer's market? Oh my God, I talk to people all over the place. I know, because they come for something like that. They come here. People get the opportunity to enjoy all the businesses downtown. A lot of people love to do that live in the city, but they're not in this district where they're paying for it. So why aren't they contributing to something that they get to enjoy, that you guys are taking the risk for?
Well, I think restructuring the bid is a bit enough of the storm. You start taking more funding, God knows. It's way out of my wheelhouse in storms.
To your point though,
No, I
the
think I
city
agree
already
with you,
does.
but no, a lot of people were concerned about the money amount. So you're right.
I love that idea.
Maybe we try to get some more, larger businesses or to fund different events if they know that they're gonna get a specific, not just throwing money into a pool, but to have a specific intent, right? That.
Kind of spin on this a little bit too, is,
Yeah.
With our hotel, something very interesting is we have an occupancy tax on our hotel that they implemented not too long ago. And I brought this up to the bid especially. This was originally meant to go towards tourism. We don't have a tourism center right now. So where is my occupancy tax that we spend in the upper echelons of the 80 to 100,000 a year going? It's just going into general funding. Why isn't that used to the bid instead of taxing me twice? If it's not gonna be used for what it's for, and so somebody please track it down and tell me where that's going.
And that's the kind of thing, I applaud that.
That is going into county general.
Yeah, if going into general fund, when we're talking about our city that we love, our downtown that we love, yeah, I mean, you guys are paying a lot. I mean.
Thanks for being aware of it, too.
And Mike's a friend of mine for years, as I was a wedding photographer, and I called him, right away, just to, what did he think? Because I respect him so much, and I also know that you guys, you're paying the big taxes, I pay taxes, but even a little gentleman like this, everybody's paying.
A percentage.
yeah, I think it was a city tax.
It's not a big business owner. Yeah. City.
City tax. Is it Michael?
No, that's a county tax.
It is county, but a percentage of it does go to the city.
But the city gets a percentage.
Yes.
I'm sorry, of the hotel occupancy tax?
Yeah, it's a bed tax, isn't it?
Yeah.
The city does get some.
It's supposed to go to tourism.
Right.
To my knowledge, that does not go.
There's 3 hotels in Troy, not that everyone would commit to
There,
bid.
and 450
Where
rooms,
it's all
yeah, no, I'm
going.
with you.
Where's that all going?
Yeah.
Airbnb construction.
So, I just want to, I'm sorry, I forgot your name, I'm sorry, but you did talk about the bid, these people could do these things on their own. Like, maybe these people should do them, Vic and Broadway and bootleggers, they close down the street, they run that thing on their own self, they close down the street from Friday until Sunday morning or Saturday night. Why can't the businesses get together and run that stuff themselves? Why does the bid have to be involved? That's my statement, I'm agreeing with her. And the next thing I just want to say is, you want to talk about beautification, how about we put some posts around that have the poop bags, so we don't have to walk around with
Yeah.
everywhere we go. That's beautification, that's more than putting up a dead flower.
7 o'clock this morning, somebody had dogs devastated right in the front of Franklin Plaza.
And they probably
At 7
couldn't
a.m. in the
pick it
morning,
up
and I
because
have it on
there wasn't
camera.
a bag there.
No, I just think they just walked away.
Right in front of the building all the time.
Right in the front of it.
I mean, that's something that can be done without a lot of money.
6:30.
All right, yes.
Okay.
Say, who are you? I don't know.
Teresa Albanese, I own River Rock Speed Shop. I've been in Troy for 17 years. I don't live here, I pay rent.
But you
Which-
live there because you're an
I pretty much live here. And I just wanna say, Troy is way better than Albany. As far as litter and beautification and all that stuff, Troy does a much better job. It can always be better. But as a business owner, I do agree the number one problem in Troy is parking, and I know that's not the day. Like free nights and weekends doesn't really do anything for retail, that helps restaurants, you know. So I do think that that's a major concern. But getting back to the bid, if there's increase in taxes and marketing, what is that money gonna actually be going towards? Because I've seen like things like River Street Festival and even Chowderfest and Pig Out, they've kind of declined over the years. They haven't improved, they've gone downhill significantly. Attendance, talent, the vendors they bring in, it's not what they used to be. And all of these events have gone downhill. So, and I'm not saying people don't try, but for example, there's no draw as far as a band for Riverfest. Local bands are great, but that only does so much. There's nothing that brings people in from outside the area like there used to be. And when there's a lot of other competing festivals, that affects it. So make it something, I would like to know that, is the marketing money, the entertainment, is that going to be something that's actually going to improve these festivals and these events, as opposed to just kind of.
Anybody over here? Okay, who, wait, for you? Yeah, go.
My name's Paula, I'm a resident. I grew up in Troy, but I left. I was back here for about a year and a half, about 20 years ago, and now I'm back, okay. About 20 years ago, I worked with RPI, who was helping the bid, as it just was established, in doing research. And that's my background, research, strategic planning. What do you do with the knowledge that you have? So it was like a 25-page report, and one of the pages, for example, said opportunity analysis. And it was interviewing all the people who came down. We interviewed people at the farmer's market. And we found out like where the overlap was,
What
why
year
they were
was
here.
that?
Opportunity analysis.
No, what year was this
This
done?
was like 2001.
Okay.
Right after 9/11, that's when I came back. So I 3 times reached out to the bid to explore the idea of maybe updating this research and finding out why people come here and what they're doing when they're here. You know, what is the crossover? I'm just saying that there's, I think, if you have a foundation of knowledge, you can.
Knowledge can be power. Okay, people that haven't talked. Sunglasses in the back. I'm sorry.
Hi, my name's Deanna. I'm just a resident. I work downtown.
They're not just a resident.
Just to bounce off what was just said, I'm someone who doesn't really come downtown unless it's for something like work. If my vendor friends have to go pick up beads at the bead shop, or they need this specific thing. The events that happen are like a nice draw, but how many there are, I've noticed like the decline because of like weather or just road closures affecting how my access to the shop. I don't know how to get there. There's too many one-ways. That's not the big small, but but like we appreciate the efforts, but I think it all comes down to it shouldn't be coming out of the small. Just from what I've gathered, it's not the businesses shouldn't be paying any more. I think it's the city of Troy that you need to be like kind of like not going against, but like demanding more from. I think the way the economy is, like, we're all stretched too thin to be demanding any more money from each other than who's collecting it all.
Yeah.
So I really do think that the BID should focus their funds retrieval from the city of Troy, and because a lot of the issues, from the garbage to the parking to the streets, that's what's drawing us in or keeping us away. A lot of us don't like to go to Albany because it's kind of yucky, and like unless there's a specific event I need to go to. And I think that's important to keep in mind as a resident or like someone who's coming to your events who doesn't own a business downtown. I think it adds a perspective of maybe getting everyone's opinions that don't own something, that don't have that financial stake, so then you can get that better, you can get that perspective to help what you should be focusing on.
Well, I like to think holistically, is what I said in the beginning, that we're all part of a business community and a living community, and we can't ignore one person's thought, and that all the different ideas, I mean, every day if you're not learning something, it's kind of a shame. I know I saw you, but yeah, I'm trying to get people that haven't spoken first.
Hi, my name's Michael Easterbrook. I'm a resident. Mostly came to learn because I'm actually sort of trying to help uptown. I live up on Linden, and I'm interested in improving Congress Street, so I wanted to learn what the BID was doing. I also work as an executive director for a community center there, Mount Ida Preservation Association. I guess one of the things like I know that I do as an executive director is I prepare details about what we're going to spend money on, and then we present it to members of the board and of our association, and then there's a vote on how that stuff happens. Does the BID have a democratic component where like businesses get to see and have a contribution on options for discretionary spending, or?
I think that's part of my concern, is that we just open up communication better. Again, hating to say the word over and over again, but.
Yeah, I mean, that's effectively a communication
I don't know
comment.
who said it, but somebody's like, we're all part of this. You know, whether we're business, we live here, whether we're a guest who we invite in, we have to think holistically of all of the, Alex, go.
Yeah, so my name is Alex Bresnik. I live downtown. I also work downtown. I manage the Tresco Bank on 5th and State. I'm on a couple of boards. The Art Center, thank you for graciously hosting, and the BID as well. And I thought that in this discussion it might be helpful if I shared why I'm involved. Just to clarify, I'm here in an individual capacity. I'm not representing the organization. The reason that I wanted to get involved is because I saw when I moved here, I saw when I visited here, there's a critical need for services. Things like litter, other beautification elements, snow removal. Now, the reason that I joined the BID is because it, to me, represented the simplest path to being able to participate in trying to resolve these issues. And I suppose what I would like to say as a member of the community is, if the BID is no longer here, how do we get the attention that we need to the problems that we have? I hear the lack of communication that people are voicing, and I think that that's the other side of this, that if the reason that I'm involved is so that I can have access and other people are not having access, then is it working? I think that most people would agree that structurally right now it's not working. So.
Thank you for your honesty.
So yeah, I want to hear what people want.
Well, I don't think the BID duplicates some of the city services. I mean, that's, you should speak up and say something.
It actually doesn't.
I came to
The whole
listen,
club will,
but I have to say that I don't believe that they're duplicating services.
Oh, what
I
is
think-
snow removal or cleanup?
Well, I think that a lot of things that have been mentioned are city services. They're not BID services. I would rather let other people speak. That's why I came.
But I appreciate that you came.
Just to clarify, when you're talking about snow removal by the bid, they're talking about snow removal on the sidewalk.
Sidewalks, yeah.
They're not talking about the street, which the city does. The city does not touch the sidewalk.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
that's true.
Jeff.
But shouldn't that be by the landlord?
Right.
But that's the landlord's
It's an
responsibility.
option, it's something that they were proposing that they might be able to take care of. What that looks like, the technicals of it.
Selfishly, I would like them to take care of some other things before we worry about the sidewalks. Or even the flowers.
Because I don't really understand what they do and what they don't do, and I've been here almost 10 years. When Joyce and Katie were here, was it just them? How many other staff do they have? Because they had boots on the ground. You saw them. If you had a question, you could know that you're gonna see one of them to ask them directly. Like, I've actually heard out of Olivia's mouth that she doesn't like to go into the businesses because then people tell her problems. She doesn't want to hear them. That's your job, you know? Like, she actually said that. I went to one meeting and I felt so unwelcomed that I will never go to another one. And it's frustrating because I've learned to function as a business. Without them, I don't tag them. I don't want to tag them. They're very petty. To me, they're almost like the mean girls in high school. Like, I don't want to deal with them.
And that makes me really sad because the business community is not that big. So I think that it's really important that we as business owners, because without the public, without the residents, we're nothing. We need the people to come in and, yeah, I mean.
Well, I think we need the bid too. We really do. They did a great job in 2019 and then 2020 just destroyed everything. But when we first started in 2017, it was awesome. That's why we came to Troy, because of that synergy, because of that support that we all had. And it was a great time.
When the bid started, we were the best bid, and we had the best Troy night out, and Albany and Schenectady were always jealous, and they had more money. So I would love for us to get back to that.
Yeah, I was just gonna, I don't know, it's more of a comment now, but a while ago, we keep talking about parking. Just to say it, I'm anti-car. I don't like cars. They get in the way of things, but they are commerce. It's that when I see a bunch of cars in town taking up all the parking spots, I think that's great. It's a bunch of visitors here doing business, which is awesome. But people come in on bicycles. People walk in. People come in on buses. There's all sorts of people out there, and that's what markets are. The business improvement district is a developing market. I love looking at downtown. My master's degree is an MBA focused on emerging markets. I love looking at emerging technology and ways that people can combine and work together to achieve their visions. I look at that with my software background. That's what I'm trying to do in my 40 hours a week. But what we have to do here in the bid, I think, is try to develop the market, try to lift each other up, like you're talking about in 2019. That was where it was, figuring out where the best value is. Marketing isn't it. Beautification isn't it. That can be individuals doing it. I put a flower out on my stoop and I make it look nice. That's none of the bid's work.
On this side, anybody else? I know.
So, I just want to ask.
Oh, Mike, there's so many people named Mike.
So bottom line is, what are we doing here? You know, I guess we all agree that we do need the bid and it does help us, but we all agree that it's structured wrong and it's paid for wrong. But do we have any power? I mean, I asked Sue, who makes this decision on this tax increase, and it's the council. Is that right? Okay. And is there gonna be a public hearing before the council?
There will be.
There will be, okay. So the bottom line is, we as business people have to decide how to get to the council and say, look, the bid needs fixing.
Right.
How it gets paid for, how it's structured, what they do, and who decides on whether or not we have it or not. You know, I mean, it's like, we don't have any power. I don't know what, I mean, I know we're here, we want to hear each other talk, but we're not going to change anything unless we can be involved with the council. It's the council.
I know, but if the council doesn't come and the people don't come and we don't communicate amongst ourselves.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I'm not saying we shouldn't be here now. I'm just saying, what's our next step?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Next step is.
We want it all right, but.
Yeah, no, and I just checked with John that it was hitting over an hour. I just want to make sure if somebody took the time to come here that they get to talk.
one comment on how
I'm advocating for you.
the bid is going about getting the increase. Maria Devasi, resident, not a business owner, but pay into the bid tax. When they asked for approval to start the bid, there was a commitment made that the bid tax percentage, the 5%, would not be raised unless it went back to the bid members. So I was surprised to hear that this just requires the approval of city council.
We were there, Deborah, you were there, so
Yeah.
was I.
Yeah.
We were there when this happened, and I remember
Yeah, a
this.
few of us were.
We were there.
So is that in their charter?
I don't know.
That's the question, is how is it structured and who decides how all these decisions get made?
The other thing I want to mention is that every time the city tax has increased, the property tax, the money that the bid gets has increased as well. So it's not like they haven't been getting more money, they have. They've been getting it to the same degree as the city has had tax increases. Including one year when the property taxes went up 15%, well, the bid tax that was received went up 15%.
That's a really good point.
So I just wanted to.
This is why we have committee meetings, because I can have a meeting, but I don't know everything.
My name is Samantha Hertler. I live on the outskirts of the bid district, but I do work downtown. And I have attended numerous bid board meetings and bid quality of life meetings. I try to engage with people throughout the city and talk to business owners on my own because I'm just generally curious, and I really have enjoyed living in the city for the past 3.5 years. And similar to what was said, when I first moved here, joining the bid was one of the first things that I considered doing, and I just showed up to one of the bid quality of life meetings, and I've been going ever since. I guess my question or comment is if, and I do hope that the tax increase goes through, and I guess my question is if it does go through, then a relationship is always a two-way street. It's not just dependent on the bid, and it's not just dependent on the business owners or the residents of the 3 units, etc. So my question is, if the bid gets this increase, how are the property owners going to work with the bid to help themselves? Because I understand the communication issue, that's a human issue. Communication is not going to be solved overnight. We are still learning how to communicate on a daily basis. We have emotions, we work in logic most of the time, but a lot of things are unreasonable. So I guess I just wonder from a business perspective, I'm not a business owner, I've never been a business owner, that's why I appreciate the business perspective so much. But at the same time, I wonder what can business owners do within their own capacity, just like the bid is a business in some respect. How is it working in its own capacity? How do we find that room? How do we negotiate with each other so it's not so conflictual and that we feel like we're working together? How do we do that?
Well,
What is that
gonna
gonna look
work
like?
for us as business improvement? I think that maybe there's a lack of, and I'm not gonna use that C word again, but maybe an understanding of what it takes to run a business, the complexity. So maybe both sides need to work together so there's an understanding so that the businesses aren't like people who are at one end of the street and they don't feel like they're getting to be part of the event. I mean, that's a fair point, that if you're paying money and you feel, there's things we can't control, but I just feel like working together, we have a better chance. And everybody's got some sort of thing they know more about. This is not gonna happen after tonight. I just thought it was really important that people met each other, that people knew that there's people that care on all these different levels. There's people that just moved here that are excited. I've been here the longest I've ever lived, 17 years. Any place else I've always moved out, so I kind of know everybody and I care about the city and I own property here, I have a business here, but I don't have all the answers. I just know that we gotta work together. We gotta pull people's memories and their thoughts and make the best thing. I think that just throwing money at a problem without change was what made me have this meeting. That was the main thing. They're gonna just do what they want. we're not happy, how are we gonna make that change? And if somebody can't look you in the eye and talk to you about it, then we change up the, the structure. So anybody else wanna talk who
I just want
hasn't?
to thank you for organizing.
We kind of broke all the rules, we had the mics live, we never used the mics, I didn't want to, because I walk around a lot. Everyone else feel like they have said what they need to say. Just keep,
We do have one in the corner, and then I want to.
All right, right in the corner.
My name is Frankie and I'm a resident of Troy. And I'm just wondering if the bid money is not being used effectively, is a bid personnel change needed? And if a staffing change would be helpful, how can that happen? And if bid isn't ultimately responsive to your business needs, would it ever make sense to abandon the bid and hire your own marketing staff directly to try to bring more people into the area?
Am I falling on the sword of all of that? Yes, I think that there might be need for some change in structure and leadership. I'm not 100, obviously all of us have love for the city, we have good ideas.
Be careful, Doug.
I know, I'm already in trouble for having this meeting. I'm already getting calls. It's okay.
I just want to.
No, I think that's such a fair
okay
point.
to say that there are personnel issues.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not a good fit. And if someone is not being effective in the way that you need them to be effective, then that's a valid topic of discussion. I'm not putting that out there to point any fingers. I'm just saying, we have to be realistic. If it's not working and it boils down to a personnel issue, it's okay to openly talk about that.
Thank you. And there was one more person I had missed. No? Everybody?
I got a quick question. How is the executive of is the director of the bid selected? Because as far as I understand it, which is very little, but I think that they have a lot of discretion in the organization and the priorities of the bid. Is
The
it a
board
volunteer
votes?
position or?
They're hired by the board.
The board.
The board, so they're board elected. Okay, so I guess you have to talk to your board members? I don't know, we're trying to figure out people with, people.
I'm gonna just let John say one more thing, but I just wanna say thank you to everybody who came. I hope it was worthwhile. We weren't gonna try to answer everybody's question. Feel free to email me, feel free to stop at my store sometimes. No, I'm sincere in wanting to make this work. I'm sincere in that I can't do it by myself. It takes the public, it takes residents, it takes us all, it takes people that's specialty and they got their masters in something. We all have information that's gonna make this better. I want the city to thrive more. I mean, hell, I'm a capitalist. I love the city, but I want people to be comfortable. I want them to come down. And we're gonna do it together. I'm not giving up on this. This wasn't a give up, this wasn't a trash somebody. This was how many of us can get together and talk to each other and brainstorm and make this work. So thank you.
Yeah.
John has something to say.
Thank you. I would actually really like to thank all of the bid board members who came out tonight. I know that not everyone was here. I would like to say something about, I have attended a lot of bid meetings. There is not a lot of feedback that they take. They stop taking public comment. So it can be a little, hard to feel like you're being heard when no one is listening to you. I want to give a special shout out to actually Tara Rainstrom, who at board meetings has been constantly talking about the need for a new